Have you ever met someone who excused slavery in order to justify abortion? Let's talk about how we can respond. Come debrief with us. Hello, my name is Maggie, and I'm here with Ethan and Seth, and we are debriefing pro-life outreach. And surprise, surprise, I have the outreach highlight for today. So last week, I was doing Decline to Sign, and we did another episode about that. So I'll put that in the show notes. So if you don't remember what Decline to Sign is, but, well, I guess just quickly, it's where we go and talk to people who are considering signing to get this pro-abortion thing on the ballot in November. So my friends and I were at a library, which I usually think of libraries as being way more chill places to do Decline to Sign, rather than like outside the liberal coffee shop near us where we've been doing it. But anyway, this was not super chill because the guy collecting signatures got so mad at us. He was calling us the meanest names. And then two ladies from the library came out and told us we weren't allowed to be out there handing out our information, our red pin amendment language papers.
This document showing all the amendment and the problems with it.
Right, yeah. So I called Seth and asked him like if he knew anything about that, and like weren't we allowed to be there doing that? And anyway, while we were on the phone, this guy left. So we don't really know if he left because of us, but it did seem like I thought he would be there for longer. And so he got mad and left. So
I will say I think that we have seen a lot of people who, when you show up, they do get really frustrated because they don't expect any kind of pushback, and it really lowers their numbers. People don't like to sign when they have this confusion minimum, and then they see our problems we lay out with the amendment. I think a lot of them I'm encouraged by that you did that and he left. I think a lot of people don't understand the value or impact of going out there, just being out there.
That's good to hear. Because I feel like a lot of times people like hurry up and sign because they don't like the tension. But I hope that that's true, that it actually does cause people to wait.
I mean, there definitely are different experiences, right? Yeah. Those who are already hard line encouragement, they just want to get out and sign it. But there are those who still are open-minded, just like on the outreach, right? You're looking for the open-minded people. Yeah.
And that's why we need to be there, because if someone doesn't realize how extreme it is, then they might just go ahead and sign. Like I remember you saying, Seth, that you talked to some lady who was
5 people one day. I was like, she almost was crying, like shocked at how, knowing that she had signed this thing that would not only make abortion legal, that's the biggest problem of all, but even she was realizing it would make it remove parental consent. So if her daughter had an abortion, she would have no say in it, and that was really grieving to her.
Yeah. Well, speaking of all this Decline to Sign, let me put in a little promo for our website, volunteer.createdequal.org. Definitely go there, check out Decline to Sign tips so you can help us fight this pro-abortion ballot initiative. And also, we're going to be rolling out some new volunteer opportunities here coming out that you will want to be aware of. Eventually, Decline to Sign we won't be doing anymore, but that does not mean we need to stop fighting. We're still going to need volunteers to help us with other outreach projects, showing people the reality of abortion and helping to save the lives of unborn babies. So just a little plug there for the volunteer website.
Yeah, go register and complete your profile with your information so we can send you information when there are events near you. Yeah. That way you can join us.
Yes.
And then you can debrief with us.
Yeah. Yes.
There we go.
That would be great if you could come join us, do those things with us. All right, the clip today is one from a high school. Ian had this clip talking to a young man. I thought it was shocking because I was standing right nearby Ian, and I was actually hearing this conversation go on as it was happening. Basically, this kid defends slavery. Basically. So I'll explain more after we listen to it.
Developed in me, but that doesn't mean I'm allowed to kill you, right?
Exactly.
So why do we say that for a baby when it's growing inside of the womb?
I don't know. People have sick minds.
Yeah. So don't you think abortion should be illegal then? If it's coming from a sick mind that people are wanting to do that.
There's a lot of sick minds and a lot of categories, and some things are legal, some things aren't. I mean, slavery for a long time wasn't illegal, and it was still allowed to happen, but there were still reasons for that. So there's still reasons for abortions, to still happen, and there's reasons for abortions to not happen.
Right, but slavery was wrong for people to do, even though it was legal, right?
Yes.
So even if people have reasons for why they're doing it, and even if it is legal for them to do, aren't there some things that we know intuitively that are wrong, even if the world says it's legal or you can do it?
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. But with slavery, it was horrible. Black people was enslaved. They picked cotton. You know, they went through a really long millennial lifetime. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But the Caucasians, the whites, they was making a lot of profit out of it with cotton productions and cooperations and stuff. They was making bank. So there's always something good come out of something bad. It's just the way you view it.
All right. Well, if you follow us on Instagram, follow us at the Debrief, or Debrief with us, then you can go watch this GoPro clip. And what is particularly striking about it to me is that he's not a Caucasian boy. So it's like he has skin in the game. Is that a good way to put it?
I mean, literally, I suppose. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's not just a white kid who has no perhaps ancestral heritage with slavery.
Yeah, exactly. So it was particularly shocking to me that he seems to be saying this. I mean, he says slavery was wrong, but it almost seems like he's okay with it having happened because of the quote-unquote good that came from it.
They were making bank. That to me is one of the most shocking parts of what he says in there. Just how casually, that's the good that he saw coming out of slavery.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he's really saying it's good though, or like he's just saying? Because like there's a lot of just moral gray. People say like, you know, you don't know what you really would have believed if you lived 200 years ago because it was a different time, and so we shouldn't judge them because it was a different time and stuff. And you think he's actually saying it was justifiable because of those reasons, or just that it's like it's kind of hard to really judge because they had benefits, pros, cons? Like I guess I'm confused on what you think his position actually is.
That's an interesting question because to me it sounded like he really was justifying it.
Because they're making bank.
But I mean, I don't know, you're giving him the benefit of the doubt there.
I could see it going both ways. I think if he had said something like that in any other context, though, on social media,
true,
he would have been, run out of town.
Canceled.
To put it canceled. Yeah, that's the correct terminology for our day and age.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
I think he could be saying both things, but in a different context, he would have been treated much more harshly, or even saying that it's possible that good could come out of slavery.
So true.
Yeah. Earlier in the conversation, he had already justified abortion for many reasons. He justified it for young girls because of quality of life, when they're inside the mother still, before they're conscious or have memories. That's 4 different reasons I just listed off. And that was after he had initially said that he doesn't think abortion is right. And then now he basically justifies abortion because people have their reasons, just like there were reasons for slavery.
Well, does anyone think a mom doesn't have a reason? I mean, like, who thinks that women don't have a reason?
Yeah, that's just not a good reason.
I mean, even a woman who, let's say she, like that disgusting theater art of where the mom wouldn't have the church services and like have abortion happen or whatever, like even that disgusting thing is still a reason.
Yeah.
The question is, are they justifiable reasons? So I think his point is like kind of irrelevant. Like, of course it's a reason, but that's not what we're asking, right?
Right.
We're asking, is it right or wrong? All sorts of genocides, atrocities, and injustices that happen, the perpetrators, there was a methodology, there was a worldview behind it. These things generally don't just spontaneously pop into existence without any premeditated thought. There's an agenda. During the Holocaust, or during World War II, the Holocaust was committed because the Jews didn't fit a specific criteria for personhood.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That was a reason.
That was a reason. Was it a good reason? No, everybody agrees it wasn't. Or everybody should agree that it wasn't.
Right.
People have reasons for why they do things.
Right. Even something like the Rwandan genocide that kind of happens like a powder keg moment where in 3 months you have about 900,000 people killed by machetes by their next door neighbors. Even with that, it wasn't, and there was was the political leader, I'm not sure his president or whatever, but who was killed that kind of was the launch point of this. It wasn't that death that caused the genocide. There was all this racial hatred between the Hutus and Tutsis going back generations that came in a moment to that killing act, right? So you had something that was a powder keg moment that kicked off the killing, but you had this deep-seated hatred that led to it. So you're right, like there's always something. Hitler just decides someday, I'm going to just flip a coin and kill someone. I guess it'll be the Jews. I guess it'll be people with the special needs, whatever. No, he had this hatred against those who were not helping the war effort, those who were mentally, physically disabled, those who were Jewish people. He had this deep-seated hatred that he then gave birth to, and his genocidal lust. I don't know what the
Yeah.
word is.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Seth. Back to the slavery topic, I think that he says it was wrong, but he seems to be okay with it having happened because good, quote unquote, good came from it. And sure, profit came from it, but I think we have to make a distinction between good and profit, as Ian did in the clip. Or I think it was in the clip that he did.
No, it should have been.
Yeah. So why do we condemn slavery even though profit came from it? Like, this is a really simple question.
I mean, profit doesn't justify enslaving a race of people based on the color of their skin. I mean, this is like
Yeah, exactly.
grade school, in the apologetics world or ethics world, this is grade school level stuff.
Mhm.
You know, elementary school, whatever you want to call it. It's an easy question to answer.
Yeah.
What matters more, people or money? Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
We have to understand that no profit we can get from anything is ever worth harming anyone over.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really simple.
And yet that's clearly not the ethic of our culture, though, right? I mean,
No.
it should be. But we know Planned Parenthood is making bank on
Yep.
killing people. We know there are so many other industries we could talk about that use people for finances, right? So clearly, again, we see that our ethic is on a collision course with the culture that has moved away from this view of human equality and toward using people. Not that that's a new thing. I mean,
Right.
since Cain killed Abel out of jealousy, right? There's been this animosity and people want to use others. But I think this is an important point you're making, Maggie, that profit, whether it's there or not, is irrelevant. Yes, it is true that people made a financial boon off of slavery. It's true.
Mhm.
It doesn't justify taking someone because of their skin color and saying, therefore you are less than me and I can own you.
Yeah.
I think you're right. You're exactly on the point, Maggie. It's a simple answer, Ethan, you're right, but it's still an important one that we have forgotten.
Yeah.
People matter more than money.
Yeah. Yeah. What he said is a twisted kind of reflection of something that we as Christians believe, that God can bring good out of very terrible situations. Even in a situation where there is much evil, God can use that evil for his good purposes. But that doesn't mean that we are justified in continuing in that evil as it is going on if we have power to stop it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you have Joseph telling his brothers very clearly in the Old Testament, you, my brothers, who sold me to slavery, you meant it for evil, God meant it for good, right? So God knew what his brothers were going to do. God had a plan to use this evil act by the brothers to bring good things, which was to have Joseph have the seat of power and, save the Israel race. That's a big, longer conversation, but your point is exactly right, Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
God can make good out of the evil things we do. Doesn't justify us doing evil.
Yeah.
Joseph's brothers were still wrong, right? All the slave owners were still wrong. Even if God could use slavery for some purpose, that doesn't mean that God was saying, yes, white person, go own a black person.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. And if we are doing that, if we are justifying some horrible injustice because good can come from it, I think we're forgetting one very important thing, which is the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a grave error if we're forgetting the victim.
Well, yeah, like this kid would not see a man standing over a black man with his whip in his hand and say, you know what, that's okay, right? He wouldn't say that.
Yeah. You would be able to recognize it. That's messed up and should stop, no matter how much money that white man is making off of the labor of that black man who's being forced to work for this white person against his will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think some would think that even if they recognize that slavery was wrong, like this kid did, or recognize that abortion is wrong, they would say in some twisted way, the good that comes from it kind of outweighs the bad. But whenever there are victims to an injustice, no good that could come from that will ever outweigh the bad. Sometimes there might be instances where good can outweigh the bad of situations and make it worth it. But that would be when people are choosing to make sacrifices themselves. It's not when we're causing other people to be victims. So it's perfectly acceptable for us to put ourselves through a more difficult time. You could say that's a bad situation in order to preserve the lives of others or protect others.
Mm-hmm.
But that's totally different, than causing harm to other people.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, there was something else that this kid said before this clip that I thought was so interesting, and I didn't want to bring in a bunch of different clips from the same conversation, even though we've done that before. But he said earlier in the conversation that the difference between killing a baby inside the womb versus out is that inside it's abortion, outside it's murder, which I think is just so interesting. It's like he sees abortion and murder as two very separate, distinct categories, whereas we would recognize that abortion is a subset of the category murder.
Well, I want to ask him, how do you know it's murder killing the baby outside the womb, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's killing, but how do you know it's actually murder? How do you know it's killing innocent people? I think it's because, well, you have a young human who's done nothing wrong. Okay. What about before the birth? Young human, done nothing wrong. Seems like the same kind of thing to me, right?
Yeah.
So going back to how he said there was some financial good that came out of slavery. And so there was some good that came out of this evil that made it maybe slightly less evil, if that's what he's saying. I've been thinking a lot about this idea of how our view of humans and how valuable humans are should inform our actions we take and how we treat humans, not the other way around. It's a idea I've kind of been tossing back and forth in my head. It's sort of always there in the background, I think, in our conversations, but something I've just been trying to dive a little bit deeper into. And I think this kind of plays into it a little bit. Like in the issue of rape, it's wrong to murder human beings because they're valuable. So even though rape is a difficult situation, it doesn't justify murdering a human being because all human beings are valuable. So even though it is harder, you have to make a more difficult choice to navigate those circumstances. That is what we should do because all human beings are valuable, and so it takes some options off the table.
Yeah, we have to start at the correct starting point. If we're starting with a situation, then we're going to end up victimizing some people. So we have to start with that it kills human beings.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like before you can answer if it's wrong to kill human beings, you have to know what a human is, what you think about the human.
Yes.
So like almost as a leading question, rather than what do you think about abortion, what is a human? What does it mean to be human?
The next Daily
What is a
Wire.
woman? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the clip then, Ethan. So I think your point is that he was flipping things on the head, right? So you would say we ought to first understand what a human is, and that will lead to how we should treat them. But he's looking at, well, did we get good consequences from this action, and therefore that reflects on the action itself of slavery being right or wrong. So he's flipping on its head.
Yeah.
This is, as you referred to before, just a mistaken ethical development, right? You don't begin with the action. You begin with what kind of a being are we talking about? So I think you're really on the right track. I think that's a good point for anyone who's going to face this question in the future, slavery or whatever the issue may be. You just have to know not only what is the thing, but also what that means, right? So we know what a human being is biologically, but there's more to us than that. We know that there is reasons that we matter, that we have value, and we understand this because God made us in his image. And that knowledge, the theology of who we are as beings made by God will inform the actions are justifiable or not to other human beings.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Inform our actions.
There it is.
That's
All
what
right,
I was
make it a
looking for.
hashtag.
Hashtag inform our actions. Do it on Instagram.
There it is.
All right. Well, that's a good way to finish up the episode because we are on Instagram and you should go follow us at Debrief with us. And since I did the outreach highlight, I'm punting the ending to Ethan.
Okay, I will do my best. I think this is just a good conversation that talks about we need to have an understanding of human beings and their value and how all human beings are created equal by God before we start talking about what is an acceptable way to treat human beings. Because if we are valuable, if we are created in the image of God, then no matter how much profit you may make off of abortion or slavery, that does not justify those. So that's kind of what I gathered from the episode. Leave us a 5-star review, follow us on Instagram, and debrief with us next time.